You're listening to the Weekend Show podcast with Ken Kidney. Download every Sunday at soundcloud.com/The Weekend Show.
Gar, how was your week?
I'm in what I call Lord of the Rings week 2015, as I forgot the year for a brief moment.
We're in 2015, Gar.
Yes.
Next year is 2016, and the previous year was 2014.
I can add one to numbers, Ken. Don't patronize me. But every year I tend to watch it. It's only a relatively recent trend. I've done it the last 2 years, but I watch all of the Lord of the Rings films, plus the Hobbit films now. I've made my way through the first year. I've made my way through the Hobbit trilogy. A set of films I will adamantly defend as being good films.
They are good films.
They're not Lord of the Rings.
The first one I would say is a little sparse in terms of actual happenings.
I would have said the second one is. I think the second one, bar the bit where they're going down the lake out of the Mirkwood with elves shooting things.
Yeah.
Bar that bit, the first 2 hours of the second one is super dull.
I found the first one quite dull. I found it kind of long and it wasn't uneventful, but I found the second one kept me entertained for longer.
No, I like the first one. I think the first one's a good
Regardless,
film.
Gar, this is a very serious question to test how nerdy you are. Extended editions or regular editions?
I watched the extended editions of The Hobbit because they're only 20 minutes longer.
Yeah.
I watched the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings films last year. I don't think I can do it again.
It's a combined, I think it's over 12 hours.
It's about 12, yeah.
There's some really good stuff in there that they left out, actually. There is actually...
It's the same with the Hobbit films. There's somewhat stuff that you consider important,
yeah,
but it's left out.
because it just had to end up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's not one of those things where you watch, there's a second of extra footage and it doesn't make a difference. There are whole scenes and they're actually...
The fourth one's an hour longer.
Yeah.
It's a whole hour worth of Lord of the Rings.
Imagine being in...
And that film is 3 hours as it is.
Exactly. Imagine being in those sequences and then being told, nah.
Yeah, especially some of them involve heavy special effects and heavy set pieces and makeup, and it's cut.
That's it. Sorry. But I suppose that's what, DVDs are for these days.
Yeah. I'm surprised more people don't do the extended edition stuff. But yeah, I'm halfway through.
And
The Hobbit films are good films. Leave them alone.
They are good films. I don't know. I just thought there wasn't enough for 3 films. That would be my only...
I like them. They're good films.
Leave
the Hobbit films alone, Ken.
I like them as films, but I think they could have been 2 very good films instead of 3 films. That's all I'm saying.
Also this weekend, one of my favorite video games of all time is Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
One of the greatest games of the current generation is Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. And this week, Nintendo had their Nintendo Direct where they announced a bunch of things that are upcoming in their games. And they announced out of left field at the end of it that Cloud from Final Fantasy VII is going to be a fighter in Super Smash Bros.
I'm guessing you've only just recovered.
Yes. I've watched the trailer 7 times.
Just nerding.
It's a great trailer. It's nerd rage. Because he's actually never been on... Well, he has been on a Nintendo console, but Final Fantasy VII has never been on a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
But he's been in some of the Kingdom Hearts games that have been on Nintendo systems. He's been in Theatrhythm, which has been on a Nintendo system. And Final Fantasy Explorer is out in January. He has a cameo role in that too. So it's not like he's never been on a Nintendo console. But yeah, he's in Super Smash Brothers. So you can beat his face in with Mario and Sonic.
I'm assuming that will be hitting our stores in time for Christmas. Stores, sorry.
I don't think... Well, Smash Brothers is that already, but they didn't announce a date for Cloud.
No? So, do you think he might be an expansion character?
Oh yeah, he's DLC. You're paying for him. You're not getting Cloud for free.
Well, you're not getting them for free either way because you're paying for the game.
Well, yeah, but some DLC is free.
Well, Gary, my week was extremely quiet because I worked the entire thing. I worked 7 days in a row, so we
just staring out the window at the bleak, heavy rain.
Literally, every day I went to work, I got soaked, so I had to sit there wet, and then I had to wade through people's problems. That's basically my week, and I was getting up at 6 o'clock. So that's about it.
And wet socks are the worst.
One of the highlights of my week was only yesterday. That's all I got. Children in Need, which is the annual BBC appeal for to help children throughout Britain with life-threatening injuries and diseases, and even things like when their parents die and grief counseling and stuff like that. And it just kind of occurred to me that we're based in Ireland, and we used to have that. It was called the People in Need Telethon. We just don't have it anymore. And it's just first of all, it's a good night's entertainment. because they get the best of entertainment to try and draw in the funds. They raised a record £37 million on it.
That's a lot of money.
And no, and people, some mean people, like either switch over during the appeal videos or stuff like that. But I'll always watch them because,
there's a difference between the street dancer on the street who you watch his street dancing and then you walk away when he brings his hat around. That's fine. These are children who need help. Stop being heartless, mean people.
Yeah. So I can't make a donation to children in need, so I'm just going to make one to my local children's hospital instead. But the point is that it's just one of those things, like, as well as being entertaining, it actually kind of gives you a perspective on life that, even as I said, I worked a week straight and I was grumbling. There are people out there with far worse situations and they endure a lot. And, it's just one night of the year where their struggle gets highlighted and they get the help that they need. So I'd like to see that come back to Ireland because we used to do it.
What else is RTE for?
Yeah, we used to do it. Do you remember the people in E-Town?
I remember, yeah.
With
vaguely.
the weird mascot that looks like one of those things in a car sales lot. The
wavy monster things.
Yeah. And the theme song was like, "Come on, everybody, do 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 do." Like, it's one of those weird things. Only when I thought about it yesterday, I remembered it, but I totally forgot it existed.
Yeah.
They used to do it every 2 years, but that's just an